I'm evicting a horse. 2 horses.
Hey, well, there you go.
Has the building been vacated? The residence that she was in, is she no longer in it?
So
I never lived there.
It wasn't a residence, Your Honor.
Oh, you never lived there?
I never lived there. I was told to bring my horses while I was equestrian director for them to stay there while I was running the program, and they could be there on the property as long as they could use them in the horse program, which they were used every day in the horse program.
All right, when did you leave your position at Camp Eberhard?
I believe that it was the end of July. Middle of August. I think it was August 17th. When I originally, so I live right down the road from Camp Eberhard.
2 horses, 1 eviction. In this rural landlord-tenant case, Judge Middleton weighs a rare twist. Animals left at camp after employment ends. Are we about to see tenancy at sufferance in action? Watch how this unravels.
They would write up a contract. She wanted to keep my horses there, keep them safe. Everything was just very word said. He said. I was told a contract was going to be written up. I would pay a certain amount of money in order to keep my horses there, to pay for hay. I pay for grain. I was originally working there in the morning, still feeding and taking care of the 6. I can, yes.
Am I saying your name correctly?
You are, yes.
All right. The name of this matter is YMCA of the Greater Niles Buchanan area, but they are the owners of the Camp Eberhard YMCA camp at the county line on Corey Lake, and you are Raven Losi.
Yes.
This is filed, I believe, as a termination of tenancy. I didn't find a lease, but they want you to vacate their space.
Yep.
I'm not sure that I'll get my facts straight in a minute.
Okay.
Mr. Jordan Florian is here from the Drew Law Firm in Niles. And Mr. Weber, the manager of the regional YMCA, is also present. You are a tenant in a landlord-tenant case, and as such, you have certain rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you. I expect Meg Bauer from Legal Aid will be joining us in a moment. You have a right to a trial by a jury or by the court. If you do request a jury trial, you have to tell me at this first hearing, or be prepared to file a written demand using the appropriate court form and pay the $50 jury demand fee, and that court form is MC 22, unless the judge grants a waiver of the fee because of your inability to pay. You may be able to reach an agreement with a landlord by going through mediation. If both parties are interested, the court will help set that up. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord that means the case will get dismissed. The court must provide you with a conditional order of dismissal format, or the attorneys will prepare it. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County, where the property is located. Now, I looked at this case last week and again this morning, and I'm a little confused. Mr. Florian, maybe you can help me.
Sure. So, Ms. Losi.
Well, just a minute. My understanding is she was the equestrian director at Camp Eberhard. There does not appear to be a lease anywhere. She's no longer employed in that capacity, and you want her to vacate 59580 South Camp Loop, Three Rivers. I show her address as Buckhorn Road. Am I on the right wavelength here?
You are, Your Honor. So she still has her 2 horses at the campground. So we need to have her remove her, I guess, equestrians from the campsite. And since she otherwise, at the time she had placed them in the property, had essentially tenancy at sufferance, we needed to go through the normal procedure of the Summary Proceedings Act with a 30-day notice to quit. And then since the horses are still at the property, we then filed the complaint to otherwise obtain the approval of the court to have the property removed from the campsite.
Quick legal decode. Tenancy at sufferance means property remains after permission ends. The YMCA served a 30-day notice to quit, then sued to remove the horses as property. Fair move or overreach given her promised contract.
Has the building been vacated? The residence that she was in, is she no longer in it?
So
I never lived there.
It wasn't a residence, Your Honor.
Oh, you never lived there?
I never lived there. I was told to bring my horses while I was equestrian director for them to stay there while I was running the program, and they could be there on the property as long as they could use them in the horse program, which they were used every day in the horse program.
All right, when did you leave your position at Camp Eberhard?
I believe that it was the end of July. Middle of August. I think it was August 17th. When I originally, so I live right down the road from Camp Eberhard. When I originally put my 2 weeks, I actually did 3 weeks there. So I would finish summer camp for them. So they had the director there still running the programs. I was told by Denise Peters that I could keep my horses there as long as they could keep them using them in the program. They would write up a contract. She wanted to keep my horses there, keep them safe. Everything was just very word said. He said. I was told the contract was going to be written up. I would pay a certain amount of money in order to keep my horses there to pay for hay. I pay for grain. I was originally working there in the morning, still feeding and taking care of the 16 horses altogether to be my personal horses. So all the other camp horses. And I was working in Kalamazoo at the time. So in order to be able to feed the horses and care for the camp horses and everybody else, I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning to do these feedings. Some mornings, if I was running behind or with the traffic in Schoolcraft going to Kalamazoo for my job, I wasn't able to make it on time, and I would always
Let me stop. I just asked you when you left. They no longer want your horses there, and they want you to remove them. That written agreement never got written up, apparently. They're there. It's an odd situation where your horses are tenants at sufferance. I'm assuming they're caring for them, haying them and graining them. I used to go out there every Sunday when Father Conyers was doing the mass out there. It was a joyful experience. And I'd been there to visit the camp a number of times over the years when some of the previous directors were involved in some Three Rivers activities. But at this point, they want you to remove your horses. What's your response to that?
My response is, I've been waiting. I know that that is the situation. Just when they said that they were going to take me to court, I've been saving up money. I've had my personal horse for 14 years. The other one, I've known him since he was a baby, so 9 years. I just personally, it is financially, I can't afford it. And I have been waiting until I know the final date of when I have to make a hard decision for my horses on what I have to finally do.
All right. Is your Buckhorn Road address where you reside?
That's my parents. I've told the YMCA, along with the YMCA retirement, my updated address.
Well, if any mail, you'll get it there.
Okay.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Whether I like it or you like it or anybody else likes it, you get 1 7-day adjournment. So we're going to have to continue this matter until next Monday.
Okay.
Next Monday will be February the 3rd. Then you would have 10 days from that day to remove your property, which would give you until February the 13th.
Okay.
So let's take a look at next Monday's docket. I had this up and then I took it down.
Big development. The judge pushes to next Monday, then grants 10 days, until February 13th, to move the horses before possible eviction. That's the balancing act. Property rights versus hardship. Can she secure affordable boarding in time?
About 2 p.m. on Monday, February 3rd. Does that work for everybody?
That works for me.
Yes, it does, Your Honor.
Does.
Is that hearing able to be conducted via Zoom as well?
Yes,
Or-
it'll all be by Zoom. Some courts do the second hearing live. I'm not sure what they do over in Darien, but I do the majority of our landlord tenant cases by Zoom. Everybody's accommodated it well here today. The notice to quit was in November. She left her employment in August. She claims Ms. Peters said it was okay. Maybe they continued to use the horses. Is she paying any fee for the boarding of the horses?
I don't believe so, but I do have my client on here who could confirm that, Your Honor.
No, she is not.
Well, the point in fact is, once a termination of tenancy was filed, you can't accept any money. So, Ms. Losi, I'm sure your horses are being well cared for
Yes.
free. But at some point, you're no longer employed there, you don't have a boarding contract, and they want you to move them. I don't know what else to say. So we're going to revisit this next Monday, February 3rd at 2:00. You would get 10 days from that day to remove the horses, or they would be subject to being evicted. So there's your target date, February the 13th. What does it cost monthly to board a horse these days?
As of right now, the cheapest that I found was $300 a month for outside board.
All right, well, that doesn't seem totally unreasonable. All right, we'll address this further next Monday. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Weber. Mr. Weber, are you at the camp, or are you just out of the South Bend YMCA?
I'm actually at our Niles branch today.
Okay. All right, let's see where we are next week. Hopefully we can find us safe and secure places for these horses. I'm sure they're being well cared for right now. All right, everyone, I'll be here next Monday, and I'll see all of you at 2 p.m. We'll get a new notice. It'll be by Zoom. Your horses there, and they want you to remove them. That written agreement never got written up, apparently. They're there. It's an odd situation where your horses are tenants at sufferance. I'm
Professional
assuming they're
take. This landlord-tenant dispute centers on possession, not employment promises. Judge Middleton set a hard deadline, not damages. Bottom line, move the horses or face eviction. What's your take on this ruling? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe.